Hello everybody, I'm back with a new video for you today, and I wanted to do something a little bit different. Today I have a tier list for you for all of the Gwent leaders in the game. There's quite a lot of them, so this might take a little bit of time. I'm going to try to rush through them. I won't spend too much time on each of my picks. But of course we've got the typical tier list, S to F tier, S being at the very top, the best of the best, just the good leaders, and F being really terrible ones that you probably wouldn't ever want to use. So, I'm not going to judge these based on kind of what is super meta at the moment. This is just going to be sort of how good the leader is in a vacuum. Just how great is this leader? And obviously, some of the better leaders here are going to be ones that are being played competitively. That's just obvious, right? So, let's start with Northern Realms. Why not? Shield Wall. That's a good one to start with. I think everyone can probably agree that this falls in S tier. Shield Wall's just very good. With the dual units, very, very powerful in Northern Realms. We've got a lot of engines. That's never going to be a bad leader. Just some pretty great value and high power play potential. Next, Mobilization. Also pretty good. I think I'm going to go for A tier on Mobilization. You've got Revenant deck, which is pretty strong, and Mobilization in general is a leader that can abuse sort of the double engine power, which is available in Northern Realms, but it's not super game breaking, I wouldn't say. Next, Uprising. I think this is another A tier leader, very, very decent, not too bad at all, gets you a lot of points in long rounds, or if you've got boost synergy going on, fits in a lot of decks quite nicely. Inspired Zeal, I think this guy can go in B tier. It's not a very great leader, but it does enable commando decks to thrive and anything that really needs that Zeal effect, so it's okay. Not a terrible leader, but definitely more niche than the others. And then we've got the sort of dregs of Northern Realms, the not so great leaders here. So Stockpile, I think Stockpile is a pretty deserving F, if I'm being honest, guys. Not a very good leader. You have to build around it, and it's not very good when you do that. Just pretty terrible. Likewise, Pincer Maneuver, yeah, I don't see anyone really playing this. It's just not very good at all. You can play it, I guess, for memes, and I've seen Shaggy play a War Elephant deck, which is pretty decent, but not a great ability here at all. I think a lot of stuff is better than this. F might be a little bit harsh, but it's definitely not very good. And we've got Meve, Royal Inspiration. I think this guy goes on E. Not very good again. Kind of a pretty weak leader these days. The 1 point per couple of turns leaders are not very good, so we'll be throwing that one in E tier. Alright, onto Scoia'tael. Guerrilla Tactics. Again, I think another E. Not very good. Just kind of lacking the points. Movement as an archetype doesn't really have support right now, so that leader doesn't really work too well. Deadeye Ambush, pretty good ability. I think I'll put this in A tier. Just able to find quite a lot of value no matter what your deck. If you're playing elves, you get pretty good amount from the leader. I think the weakness of Scoia'tael is more so the cards than the leader ability on that one anyway. Same kind of story here with Precision Strike. Pretty good leader, I think. Nothing really too bad about that. Just pretty solid points, control, very nice stuff. And we've got Nature's Gift. Nature's Gift can probably go in S or A. I think I'll throw it in S, because why not? It's pretty popular, it's pretty powerful, works very well with Hammer Dryads, and of course all the Symbiosis. Next we've got Mahakam Forge. This, oh god, I've moved the tier list. Oh no, what have I done? Next we've got Mahakam Forge. I think this is going to fall into C. Not a great leader, kind of sometimes works in spell decks, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I think it's not super strong, so we'll throw that guy in C tier. We've got Call of Harmony next. This, again, not a very good leader. I think I'll put this one in E alongside Guerrilla Tactics. Harmony is not really an archetype that works very well at the moment. Maybe that could change at some point, but right now it's pretty terrible. And Invigorate, I think you guys know that this guy's going in F. Terrible, terrible leader. You don't want to be playing these guys. These guys are going to lose you games, obviously. Okay, Skellige. So, Patricidal Fury. I mean, this has got to be S tier, right? It's just very, very good. Has been for a long, long time. Allows you to do a lot of crazy things with Skellige. Rage of the Sea. Good value leader. Probably, again, going to be an A tier, I think, here. You can just play this, and it's pretty good. Not bad at all. Gets you the points. Okay, let's go Reckless Flurry next. This leader's not too bad. Not super amazing, so I'd probably put it in D tier just because there's better options, and dagger and greatswords are not really working super well with it anymore. It's not a terrible leader though, you can sometimes play it. Battle Trance, okay, I think I'm going to throw this in the same tier as Forge. It kind of does a similar thing, and it's not super great. You can build decks around it, but I think it's just going to be a bit weaker than other things you could do in the faction. You know, it's not the worst leader ever. Onslaught, this guy's got to go in E, basically similar to Meve. It could actually go D, but it is pretty bad, so I'd probably throw it there. Blaze of Glory, I think this guy's got to be another C tier. A little bit better than Reckless Flurry for the most part, I think, but not super good at all. And then Ursine Ritual, I think I'll throw that guy in B tier. Actually a pretty okay leader, which enables certain archetypes like Ceres and Lippy, which are pretty decent, but not super mega strong. Okay, monsters, we're halfway there already. So we've got Carapace. I think Carapace can probably go in S tier if I'm being honest. It's just a very, very good leader. If this was in any other faction, it would probably be a little bit busted, and it is kind of busted in monsters. It just allows you to do things you can't normally do with that immunity. Overwhelming Hunger. I guess we can put this S tier as well, just because, yeah, I mean, it's really, really good. Obviously, if you don't have Death Wish, it's not going to be as good. So in a super vacuum, it's not that great, but the points you get, in theory, with this are just crazy, so I think it has to go in S tier. Next, Fruits of Isgith. This is a pretty good leader. I think I'll put it in B tier. It's not bad at all. You get some good value from it. Probably not good enough to be in A tier, though. White Frost, where's this guy going to go? I think this probably is... This is probably like a D tier ability, if we're being realistic. It's not super valuable. Yeah, maybe it could jump up to C, but I'm going to be a bit harsh on it. I haven't really played White Frost, in fairness, but I think it's not super good. Bloodscent. Honestly, Bloodscent might just be E tier at the moment. Probably more fairly fits into D. Not very good with a lot of Veils around, and there are better leaders, really, for the most part. But in theory, you can get the value if the opponent's not running Veils, so I don't know, probably fits into D tier there. Force of Nature is a pretty bog standard ability, not really that crazy. I'm going to actually put it in C. I do kind of think this leader ability might be better than the other two guys we got here. That's my personal opinion on that. You may disagree. And then Araka Swarm, I think a similar story here. It's an okay leader ability, nothing too crazy. Probably, I mean, you could even jump these guys up to B. Honestly, monsters have some pretty okay leaders. That definitely do get you the points. This is probably, yeah, where these guys end up. Okay, so now Syndicate. Syndicate's a bit hard to do because it's not super popular, but we'll see what we can do. So Pirate's Cove, I mean, if you're looking at it from a Syndicate point of view, it's probably an A tier ability. It's a pretty good thing. Hidden Cache, probably S tier, I suppose, although I'm going to put it in A tier here, I think. I think they're not... maybe they both deserve S. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit harsh. Something like this. Let's be a bit fair on these guys. Let's put them both in S. Fuck it, why not? Congregate's probably an A tier ability, just good value. You know, many points from that, and synergizing with a lot of stuff in that faction. We got Jackpot here. Jackpot's also pretty good. I'd probably throw Jackpot as an A. Enables quite a lot of things, pretty decent. I think Blood Money's probably B right now. Not super amazing, the value that you can get. And then we've got Line Pockets off the books. These are both pretty weak. Line Pockets is probably D or C. I guess we can put it C, but it's maybe more likely D, and I think Line Pockets goes in... Yeah, I think I'd put it down here. Yeah, that's where these guys go, I'm not gonna lie. They're not super great. Okay, so yeah, Syndicate has some pretty nutty leaders, if we're being honest, in terms of just what you get with those guys, I think. Okay, next up we've got Nilfgaard. Lockdown. Where does Lockdown belong? Lockdown's an okay ability. Can definitely find a place sometimes in the meta. I'm going to put it in B tier. Depends kind of what other people are running and whether you can lock them down, right? Next we've got Formation. Formation's a pretty good leader. So this is one of the better Nilfgaard leaders for sure. So I'll put it in A tier. It's still nice to get those points with the fan, play for carryover sometimes with him. Just not a bad shout, really. Okay, next we got imprisonment. Honestly, imprisonment is very, very bad. I would say it's maybe even F tier bad, honestly. But I think maybe not quite that bad actually. When we're looking at things like invigorate, stockpile, etc. Okay, double cross. Not the best leader ability, but you get a lot of provisions with it. It's probably B tier here. It's decent enough. Now we've got enslave. Enslave's pretty okay as well. I think this is another B tier ability. Just getting okay value does force you to build your deck around it, like a lot of these leaders here. Imposter's kind of hard to place. I'd say it's either C or D. I think I'm gonna go with D just so it looks a bit more evened out. But yeah, I think Imposter's quite weak ultimately. Can shut down engine decks pretty effectively. Maybe it deserves a C. Okay, I think it deserves a C. Maybe even a bit higher, but yeah, that is what it is. And tactical decision, I think, can also go for a C. Not a terrible leader, but does require you to build your deck for it, and it can be a bit inconsistent. So that's my leader tier list. Let me know if you agree with these placements. Probably don't agree with Syndicate placements. That's fair enough. But we don't see too much Syndicate on ladder. When you really think about how strong the leaders are, that's where I'd place them. But this is not sort of what is most popular or anything like that. Just at the moment in the game, what are the leaders you can do the most and get the most value from, if that makes sense. But yeah, that was a little fun thing. I might try to do some more tier list type things if you could give me any ideas that you have for stuff I could do there. We're going to have a bit of a content drought, vacuum, whatever you want to call it, with no patch coming out in a few days. So looking for all the other ways to entertain you guys and find some fun things to do. So let me know if you have any suggestions. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.